ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of AlcoHorror. Tonight, we are going to be taking a look at a film from 2001. This is a sequel to a Christmas classic. Hands down, Christmas classic. I bought this movie several years ago with the intention of doing exactly what I'm doing now. Obviously, time got away from me and wasn't able to do this as I wanted to. However, with that said, I'm doing it now. Heaven help me. That movie is Christmas Story 2. Now, I can only assume that this movie was made for Warner Brothers to keep the license to A Christmas Story, because this is a movie nobody asked for. And yes, I have seen reviews of this. I have seen the trailer for this. When I saw the first trailer for this, I honestly thought it was a joke. I thought it was an April Fool's joke, or a late April Fool's joke. But it wasn't. It was real. And I wondered why. And I still wonder why. I've heard everything said about this that I can think of to hear. I've heard one person, Brad Jones, mentioned that it was almost like a adult film parody without the adult film parts. So, it features absolutely nobody from the first movie. It takes place, I'm guessing 10, 15 years after. Not entirely sure, but doesn't matter. Now, the original film, say this up front right now, and I'm not stalling, I promise I'm going somewhere with this. Original film is great. I own it on Blu-ray. This, obviously, DVD, who cares? And I spent probably more than I wanted to on this. I'll give you my thoughts on the original towards the end of the movie, or into this review, rather. So, anyways, let's forget about that for right now. So I've already got that in the player. Let me dig into my bag of goodies, my Christmas sack, if you will, and dig out. Now, I don't like these, but waste not, want not. This is I got a couple of these tonight. This is Budweiser Jim Beam. This is Copper Lager. I don't like this. It literally tastes like you took like Jim Beam to mix it with beer, and I don't like the taste. I don't like the taste or the feel you get from booze, like actual hard liquor. I don't like it. Just can't stand it. But and that gives me that kind of gut feeling, which I don't like. But I'm gonna try to beat the heat. Beat it with some heat, rather. There's a little ASMR for you people. Have fun with that. Anyway, I am stalling. So, without any further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Christmas Story 2. I will say one thing, that the announcer is pretty close. He sounds very familiar. I'm probably going to recognize the name as soon as I hear it. But it's pretty much spot on to the original. So I'll give him that much for credit. I have to mention his little brother. I can't remember the name right now. He comes up and he's the Buck Rogers guy, and he says Zurg. Now, I don't know if Zurg was a character beforehand, but the only Zurg I know is from Toy Story. Can't make references like that in something that's supposed to happen during the 50s. Plus, he cussed. And granted, he didn't say the F word. He didn't say fudge. But it's all the language in that movie was like non-existent. It was all simile, and it was just a lot of cadence. It wasn't actual. It was mumbling and grumbling from the old man, and they just showed him in, playing around with the stupid furnace again, and he actually said a few words. So, not good. Okay. Now, in the original movie, there were scenes of Ralphie's imagination where he was dreaming of his gun. The Red Rider, the Daisy Red Rider with the compass in the stock and this thing that tells time. It was, he's a child. He was, you know, the imagination. He was imagining he was in a Western. He was imagining he was, you know, like they wouldn't let him have it, and he ended up being blind or something else. I don't know, but I can't remember exactly right now. But something to make him feel bad. And that's fine. They just had a scene where he was a U.S. soldier, a German soldier, and some girl that he's never met but has admired from afar. If he was still that age, yes, I could see that. But I think that they're only doing it because it was done in the other movie. And from what I know, there's a lot of that. I need more beer. Okay. I was going to start to talk about how the cinematography is not the same as the first movie. Then we had Ralphie smelling the hair of the girl that he was, you know, enamored with, and then they were playing in band, and then he was just like really playing them cymbals like super hard, like as if put it this way, as if it was a nosebleed section for those who are anime inclined. Just saying. Well, we have our the reemergence of the oh fudge scene.
What, you don't think I know that? The back seat's a little tight, Dad.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, that's my opinion so far. They implemented some character trait in Ralphie's dad that was never there to begin with. That he likes to spit out idioms or, you know, old sayings like the early bird catches a worm and teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day kind of a thing. I know I reversed that, but I don't care. That's annoying. It's stupid. And I don't like it. And they're still doing the stupid... Oh, man. I mean, it would make sense if this was a live-action movie of Doug for him to do as much imagination as this is happening, but this is really stupid. It's like someone watched the movie once, and they were not aware of any American culture or anything whatsoever. It's like you took somebody from like the complete opposite side of the world and you showed them the first movie and then told them to write a continuation of it. That's what it is so far. It's not good. They made Ralphie's dad a skinflint, a tightwad, cheapskate, and he won't buy the turkey because it's too expensive.
What are we supposed to eat on Christmas Eve? Tell me that.
And now they're buying fish.
Ice fish. Gonna save us a fortune. Fish for Christmas.
This is ridiculous. Okay, it got a chuckle out of me. I don't know if it's because of all of this, but they were the trio, Flick, Ralphie, and the other guy. They were in charge of gift wrap at Gimbals. I'm going to say Gimbals. I think it's Higbee's. I'm going to say Gimbals. And true to retail form, they were thrown in a position with no real training and expected to do everything properly. They ended up gift wrapping a woman's child that was in a basket. And the kid who was in charge, who did that, said, I put a pink robe, I put a pink bow on it. That made me laugh. I don't know why. They're showing him do a bunch of other weird crap, like putting shoes on fat women whose feet are too big.
Definitely not.
Trying to attach and remove bras from a mannequin, and it's a montage I can do without. The whole fat lady, big shoes, small shoes thing is just stupid. They're just wrecking the place over nothing, and then boobs. And Sailor. This movie makes less and less sense as I watch it. And the cinematography is not matched up to the original. And I feel sorry for everyone involved with this movie. I know what this is. This is if they made a TV series based off of this and they ended up with a Christmas special. And it sucked.
Go find out.
Yep, that's it. Okay, number one. I know it's only been a few minutes, but they just did the callback to the I Double Dog Dare You, where Flick puts his mouth on some kind of suction tube or whatever, and it's overly cartoonish, and they're like, oh, we need elves. And they're like, well, what about the tubes? And he says, nuts to your tubes, which I can guarantee was a thought. This movie sucks. Okay, well, we have our Pink Nightmare equivalent. He's dressed up as a reindeer with jingle bells on, and apparently him and the Salvation Army guy had a jingle off. And Salvation Army guy's clean copper clapper fell out of his bell, so yeah, that's whatever. Okay, so Rafi got his car, and he said that the engine had more rattles than an Irish nursery. I don't understand that phrase. I don't know if I want to. And ultimately, I don't care. Oh, I can't wait for the wrap up. Okay. Shut the smeg up. That's done. No, piss off. Don't care. Go away. Alright. Where to even begin with this thing? Number one, the writing is terrible. The only thing good about the writing is the narration. Because it was in the same vein and in the same it fit in. with the original movie. No doubt. The other issues that I have with it, I mean, all right, let's cover movie crap. Cinematography is fine, no problem there. Other than the fact that it wasn't shot and presented like the original movie, which would have been better. Audio was fine, no problems. Acting, a little hokey, given the situation. Excuse me. Kid playing Ralphie. I hope he gets better roles. I don't even know who it is, and I don't care. He deserves better. I think, who is it playing the father? Randy Quaid? Is it? Daniel Stern, sorry. Yeah, no. First of all, doesn't even look like the same guy who played the old man in the first movie. Attitude completely different. This is a movie that happens in its own universe, completely separate from the other movie. It makes a lot of references to it, but is sorely lacking in a lot of areas. Mainly, let me just get on this about the first movie, about A Christmas Story. Even though it was set in like the, what did I say, it was like the 30s or something like that. I know I mentioned 50s earlier. I made a mistake. Set in the 30s or 40s. The thing that is universal and stands the test of time when it comes to, or at least for me, when it comes to the first movie, is that it's ramping up towards Christmas. It is the week or so before Christmas, and the lengths of which you would go to get that one gift. And there's a lot there for the child aspect. There's a lot there that is identifiable. Man, I really want this thing. And it presented, even though there was a lot of, growing up, there's a lot of things for the adults to identify with as well. The mother trying to get her kid to eat. My first introduction to this movie was an advert, and I don't know whether it was being shown on TV or whatever, but the two things that they showed was the scene with the Santa pushing Ralphie down the slide with his foot, and the scene with the mother trying to get I forgot what the young kid's name is, to get him to eat his food because he wouldn't eat his food. And those two scenes kind of struck me as weird and kind of off-putting, but I get them now. Especially the scene where he was trying to get the kid to eat. She was trying to get her son to eat. Just doing what she could to get in, kind of playing to that. It's kind of a fun scene, even though it's a little off-putting, but it's kind of a fun scene. There is nothing. There's a couple parts that I kind of chuckled at. For the most part, it's missing the heart of the first movie. The first movie had so much heart, it reeks of it. The childhood aspects. There's scenes later on in the original film where the parents are just, they finally got the tree set up and everything, and they're just sitting there looking at the tree, enjoying each other's company. And there's aspects of it, for the adults to get as well and to identify with. Like I said, the first one was and always will be a classic. There's no denying that, no contesting that. This thing was a quick cash grab that at best was like the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie only used so the movie company can hold on to the copyright. And it's sad that it took this form. It tried to mimic, scenes from the first movie. It lacks any and all kind of heart. It doesn't have the same Christmas feel and warmth that the first movie has. It involves, granted, you may say, well, because he's older, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. Through the course of the film, he's obviously ogling both this girl and a car that he thinks will help him get the girl. At the end of it, he apparently he bought a replica or another leg lamp for his dad. Of course, their mother was very pleased with that. That was in character, at least. And excuse me. Shortly thereafter, Ralphie is cleverly, I will say that cleverly, introduced to the keys for his new car. And how that was done, they were going to take a picture. The old man was up there with the camera. And he's like, Ralphie, move over a little bit more. Move over a little bit more. And the tree was behind him. Move over a little bit more. And bumps into the tree. And hanging on the tree was, the key for his car. That's clever. I will give him that. However, afterwards he goes out and he finds the car that he's been, pining over the entire time. Earlier in the film, he ends up destroying the canvas roof of the car. It's a convertible. He has to pay it off, and apparently the car dealership owner was like, "Oh, you were determined. You only had $35 because he ended up spending some of it to help a homeless family. That the kid came in to talk to Santa while he was doing the elf job. Blah blah blah, and it's trying to force heart. Can't do that. You cannot force heart and warmth in a movie. You can't do it. So as he gets the car, and while he's out there, he ends up accidentally making the car roll down, out the driveway, and there is the girl he's been, pining over the whole entire film, and blah blah blah. Here's a fruitcake. I've been making them all season. Blah blah blah. Whatever crap. And then okay, well they go driving together, and they run off into the sunset. It is so. First of all, the original film, if they would have had that situation where she actually finally ended up with him, it would have been earned. Not just tacked on to the end of it, It was so forced, that part. It was just like, oh yeah, well we broke up. Me and my jock boyfriend, we broke up, so I'm here now and I'm yours. Stupid. Okay. There's so much that is just wrong with this movie. If you ever want a list of how not to make a film, this is it. Because as far as story, heart, just identifiable traits. First of all, the first film, I think it was at the most it was rated PG, or if not, it was G. This movie, let's see what it says here. It is PG, even though I would probably, let's say PG, okay? With the language that's in it, it's PG. There wasn't any language in the first movie. It didn't need it. And it felt completely out of place here. Not saying that as a prude or someone who hates foul language. By the way, I'm not exactly a fan of it. But it has to fit the theme, the character of the movie itself. It felt out of place. As far as being connected to the other movie, this, I really want a riff tracks done of this. It deserves it. MST3K, the new Netflix one, do this. Something, anything. Would I suggest this to anybody? If you know for 100% fact that going into this, it's going to be crap. First of all, I've not seen this pop up anywhere else for sale. That tells you something. I might have a collector's item on my hands here. I'm not entirely sure. If you happen to see it, no going into it. It's garbage. It's only worth to make fun of. Believe me, there is a lot to make fun of. The fact that even at the end of it, when he gets this girl and she's snuggled up next to him and they're driving down the road, and he smells her hair again like a freaking creeper. Oh my goodness! There's so much just. This movie does not need to exist, okay? And I've heard people say, can't remember who it was. It might have been Emmer Provost. Rest in peace, Emmer Provost. I miss him. It might have been him. I don't know if it was him or somebody else, but they said that they retroactively hated the first movie because of this. I don't see that happening with me personally. That was one of the things I was afraid of watching this. Honestly, I will relish in watching the original movie because of everything that's right with it. The two movies that I have a few Christmas movies. I got Scrooge. They got the original animated How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Scrooged. Did I mention it already? Might have done. Silent Night, Deadly Night. A couple other ones. All ramping up towards Christmas, and I'm going to be watching them the week of, if not before so. And the two that I'm going to land on the last will be Christmas Eve, or the day before, or probably 24th. No, 23rd. Will probably be National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and the 24th will be A Christmas Story. If anything, it made me appreciate the first movie more because, again, more heart, more warmth, more just the general great and awesome feeling of the season is in that first movie. This thing, I think I spent maybe $9 on this, $8-9 on this. I spent way too much. It should have been in a bargain bin at a dollar store. I should have spent minus 50 cents for this at a dollar store. Or at a Goodwill, because that's where it belongs. Am I going to keep this DVD after having it for years and not watching it? Maybe. Only as a reminder that the other movie is far superior in every way, shape, or form. If you've seen this, let me know your thoughts below. If you actually enjoyed this, you know what? I'm open to other viewpoints. Let me know what you thought in the comment section. Whew. I am going to go to bed. I've had enough of everything today. I'm done. So, I don't know when I'm going to do another AlcoHorror. If I do one. Enjoy this. I'm going to maybe try to get into this in the new year and actually, do this on a regular basis. We will see. But until then, I'm Max Bigley. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.